we are protesting, and we are using our freedom of speech.
Yeah, but we still require a permit.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We've talked to the RCMP.
We're not blocking the high of the road.
You're allowed to.
Yeah, but the RCMP are the traffic for our area. You gotta have a permit for this.
Well, we're using.
I don't believe you, sir. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Well, it's either me, I can issue a bylaw, or I can issue a fine. You have to follow the proper rules.
We've talked to the police already, the RCMP, and they said that we have the right as citizens to use our freedom of speech and protest as long as we're not blocking the roadway. So we are allowed to stand here, and if you want, you can call the RCMP.
Bylaws, but other people are saying it's bylaw to municipality.
Yeah, we're using our freedom of speech, and we know that we're not breaking the law doing this. But thank you.
I'll proceed.
Okay, for sure. Thank you. I know. He will try.
What's the bylaw?
He's trying to say we need a permit to protest, but that's not true. You don't need a permit to protest. It is a public property. Yeah, so he's trying to say that we need a permit to protest, but that's not true because we've talked to the RCMP and they said you're allowed to protest anywhere as long as it's public property and you're not blocking a roadway, because that's when you're breaking the law, is when you're blocking a roadway, or like, let's say, yeah, stopping the trucks like what I was doing, kind of thing. But we're not stopping the trucks.
Bylaw.
Huh?
Cruising. I didn't know there's a bylaw. What the fuck does it do?
And you know, this is the same bylaw officer. I told him about a violation of a farmer digging around his slough, and he didn't even report it to the environmentalists. And then I talked to the environmentalists, and the environmentalists, like the bylaw for the environment, I forget what their actual name is, they looked into it right away, and they called me back and asked me how long he's been digging for and everything, because I thought he was taking his manure and putting it in the ditch, because that's what it looked like. So he tested the ditch and everything. So if it was that serious, why didn't you tell the environment people? Do you get what I mean? So this is just pure intimidation.
Right. And he's just gonna leave. I looked at that. I was getting sorry. Yeah, nice.
So we should just make sure that we're in the grass.
Yeah.
Just so. Are you calling the RCMP? You calling the RCMP?
Okay, thank you very much.
What?
There's no such thing.
Yeah, I know there's no such thing.
I've recorded this.
Yeah. Okay, here, you guys stay here. Okay, stay there.
Your municipality, there is no laws. Right here.
Maybe take a picture of his license plate. No, he doesn't want to talk to us. He rolled up the window. And that's very rude. So
I just called the municipality permits office and I said, is there any laws for protesting? They are in Hanover. No, I don't think so.
yeah.
They'll lie at every chance they get.
Yeah, well, it's called intimidation, right?
So, yeah, like he couldn't even say what bylaw you're breaking.
Mm-hmm. And I bet you.
Okay, this place across the way is
And we're also, what do you call it? We're being safe. We're wearing security vests. Because that's what I told the police. I'm like, they're so violent here. Like, you know, we've done everything that we could, kind of thing. And I'm in the works of them making a safety agreement, like to keep the public safe. Yeah, like for them and the RCMP and us to sit down and be like, dude, you can't be driving like a bunch of fucking maniacs around people. Because like as protesters, we should feel safe.
Like for protesting. So yeah, I don't know where you kind of pulled that out of. That's kind of a lie, a statement. So that's false facts. So I don't appreciate that. False fact.
Well, there is no.
We actually have a lady that's applying for a permit today. I'm not going to tell you something that's not true.
Well, I just talked to Luke now, and he said there is nothing in the books for Arm of Hanover.
I'll give you an example. Okay. We have a lady that's applying for a permit right now because she's holding a walk.
Yeah. That you need insurance for walks. We're organizing walks
too. We require what you're wearing right now, which is great.
Yeah.
So for safety reasons, because you can have a distracted driver, you can have one of these trucks right now load, and a tire flies off and kills when he is. So we require you guys to make application for a proper permit. Then we will talk with you and say, you know what, this is what you require. I'm not saying you can't be here. I'm just saying you need to do this.
I know, but there's nothing written in paper saying that, so there's no actual ways to find this stuff out. But no, he just told me that. So it's not written in paper like that for a protest event like this, where you're protesting something you believe in. It's the same thing as the Aboriginals when they protest on Treaty 1 land, which this is. Same principles. They don't need a permit to protest, and that we're using the same laws as that. So I just don't appreciate you bending the facts a little bit, because if there was something written in that, we would already have known about that. We've done this many times. We organize them in Winnipeg as well. There's no need for a permit for a protest. Nobody does that. You don't need to.
Well, this isn't a protest. Like
this is a protest.
This isn't a permit for a protest. You're staging an event on a roadway.
No, we're on the boulevard and we're protesting.
You're staging an event on a roadway. I'm not going to use the word protest because I don't.
But that's what it is.
But either way, you're staging an event.
It's not an event.
Sure,
it's a protest.
You're more than one person.
Yep.
You're staging an event along a municipal roadway.
Okay, that's what your belief is, under your guidelines of what you believe.
And for safety reasons, you should be going through a proper protocol.
Well, that's why we have our own safety guidelines.
Did you notify the Arm of Hanover before you came here?
We don't need to. We just asked about this. Okay, and if anything, it's at our discretion to notify the RCMP.
I'll call the CEO and I'll talk to the CEO.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You can, but I already discussed it with the person in planning and this. So. He said there's nothing written in the bylaws saying protesting you need a permit. That's what the person just told me. Huh?
It's funny the CEO didn't call me, that the enforcement officer.
Well, I know, but I asked what the policies are for the Hanover department. So if I phone the municipality and ask the planning and permits department what your permits are for this kind of stuff, and they say there's no permits for a protest, which this is, that's what we follow with. So, I mean, if you're saying there is something...
What's your name?
My name's Justin. REINEKE. KE. Yeah, well, no, that's fine, but I just
converse with him that he's aware of everything.
Yeah. Well, I just left him a message, and I talked to the. Well, he stopped there for his own reason. He's checking his load for soil. That's normal Class 1 inspection. You should know that. Yeah. I got my Class 3 air brakes. I know what he's doing. That's totally legal. You're allowed to stop on any highway as long as it's not a double trailer. You should know that. Come on, bro.
The thing is,
that's safe.
Creating a hazard now, right? In front of you guys here and everything too, right?
I would disagree.
I have to think about safety first, right?
Well, if you're thinking about safety, when the slaughter trucks come driving down here at 60 kilometers an hour and taking this turn at a very high speed, are you going to be doing anything about safety and those regulations?
I'm not the RCMP.
Oh, of course.
The RCMP needs to do that, not me, right?
Yeah, of course.
So,
because you only care about safety when it comes to us protesting and busting our balls with that, right?
Well, I care about your safety. You're right.
Yeah, but if you did care about our safety, you would deal with that as well.
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, I'm not trying to have an argument with you. I'm just stating what we found out in Winnipeg. It's the same principles, and maybe our Hanover, maybe but the permits department didn't say they know anything. We've actually talked to them a couple times, even when we do our Cube of Truth in Steinbach. Same principle. We do a Cube of Truth. It's a protest on a city street. We don't need a permit to do that. So
Winnipeg police or what
they love us. Actually, they give us the most support of anybody. You know that? It's the farming communities that don't want to give us support because times are changing. You should know that. Plant-based diets are what is in, and that is what we're changing. This is wrong. This is torture. This is violence. Just like the fire, everybody got evacuated here. What happened to all the birds? They all got left on the slaughter floor, hanging to die in smoke. Is that really fair to them? Well, come on, you got to admit that that's not right.
I can't comment because I don't know anything about it.
No, I know, but you got to agree that's not right that these animals are left there to be tortured, right? I mean, you have to look at this facility and know that as if someone in the community, the amount of pollution, the water, and the blood that gets put back into the systems from this place. I mean, they're just digging a new well that you know about because they need more water, so that means they're using more of our fresh water. These are resources that we need in this time and day and age. So there's no reason to continue this and to not get the support from our local enforcement because it's funny because out here
I'm not disputing anything.
Yeah, no,
all I'm here for
I hear you, but it's just
doing this.
It's just funny, we've done this 4 times already and we've never heard anything about the permits thing. We've had, I've gotten a warning from the RCMP, which I've put to the investigation. Apparently not walking safely on a highway, which this isn't a highway, this is a provincial road. That doesn't matter on the highway traffic. Well, yeah, it does actually when it comes to the protesting words, because you're not allowed to protest on a provincial highway like the number 12. You actually, that they can give you trouble for, but if you're on a city street or a gravel road, you're allowed to protest under the RCMP's highway traffic. That's what we've actually looked into through many RCMP officers, and we found
that's news to me, and I'm a former deputy police chief.
Well, it's funny because not a lot of these people know that. Well, you know what? The law has been changed many times, and not a lot of people know the law. You guys tend to see the law for what it is and modify it to your needs. There's a lot of vegan RCMP officers, and they're very supportive, and that's why we find out what the law really is. So that's what we have to look at. And
take this call here. I'll talk to you.
They don't get slit, and then they get boiled alive in bleach water. That's how bad it is to get.
I didn't get the perfect guy's name, so all I got was Luke's name, so that's why I'm going to say it, because I don't catch that guy's name.
Under our bylaws, what we say is if it's a parade, like some sort.
Yeah, special event.
The definition of a parade, I don't think this would fall under it.
Yeah.
Because, like
We're
I
not
said,
marching.
it's a parade. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, we're going to be very respectful. We're not trying to break any
as
laws.
long as you're safe, you're not going out into the
Vests
roadway.
on.
Like I'm sure the RCMP are probably going to come and talk to you yet.
That's
But under our definition,
No, I appreciate it. I know you're just following your rules, and okay, speak my hand. Like, I appreciate you
Yeah,
just
no
trying
problem.
to do your job, and that's why we try and find out every weekend, so we're not breaking the rules, right? We don't really want to piss people off. We want to bring awareness to people working here, people driving by, the people on Instagram and YouTube who are going to watch our videos later, because I'm a YouTuber, so I post on YouTube, and I have followers on Instagram. So that's how we make this known, is we inform people through social media, and those are ways, because the news doesn't want to show this. A lot of these places fund media. It's $100,000 for a 30-second commercial. Do you really want to screw with your revenue sources?
I'll go in and speak to
Whoever you need to.
Yeah, and
Just
just
let them
explain
know.
to them that like under our municipal bylaws, like you're actually not doing anything wrong.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And at least that way I won't get a call from them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate it.
My call actually came in from the passing over this. So.
Oh, well, that's good. That means that people see us and they're paying attention. So that's what we're trying to do, actually. So, cool. I appreciate it again.
Okay,
Thank you very much. What's your name again?
Brian.
Brian? Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
So here's some birds just getting ready to go into the holding shed. They're going to try and hide them from the public, and then they're going to hold these birds for up to 48 hours in the storage facility until they're able to slaughter them. If they're turkeys, they can hold them longer because turkeys survive longer. This is really cruel and unjust. It's about 26 degrees out here, and these birds have had no food or water for over 24 hours already. Thanks.